What is good, yo? It's your boy Ty back here with another video, and in this video today, guys, we're gonna be ranking the best overall cards in NBA 2K23 on a tier list. Now, these are the best cards in my team, and I've got to rank them all. Now, there's no F tier players, but I've got 5 tier, S tier, the best of the best, A tier, B tier, C tier, and D tier. I've got 40 cards. We're going to be equally distributing these, okay? So 8 players per tier. This is going to be really hard to do, okay? And if there are cards I forgot, I want to apologize. Like, you maybe could have had a Ron Artest Pink Diamond on here. Maybe, some of the guys that I forgot. But, if I miss out on anybody, I'm sorry. These are just the best of the best. Maybe a guy like Stephon Marbury doesn't belong on here. But basically what I try to do is, take the top 8 to 12 players at each position and plug them in on this tier list. So here we go, guys. It started with the Diamond Franz Wagner. Is he a bottom 8 card on this list? And I think he is. And that's not me saying Franz Wagner is bad. Because, when we look at the stats, badges, animations of Franz, you guys know as well as I do, it's one of my favorite cards in the entire game. But objectively speaking, there are just better options. And I'm not saying Franz is bad. I'm not saying if you use Franz, you need to make any adjustments, anything like that. But there are better cards in my team. For the sake of the best card tier list, he's got to be at D tier. Pink Diamond Carmelo Anthony, I think, is going to land at B tier. He might go up to A tier. I guess what? That's something we're going to have to decide. How does Pink Diamond Melo compare to the Tis the Season KD, the Tis the Season Bron, the Galaxy Opal PG? And as we dive into this, Melo might move into the A tier. A lot of what I'm thinking, though, is I don't love Melo on current gen, and that definitely does play a factor as well. So we'll just have to kind of keep an eye on Melo and see where he does end up. Pink Diamond DeMarcus Cousins. A lot of people love Boogie Cousins. And on my center tier list, if you want to see where he was at, you're going to have to go watch that. But, he was up pretty high on my center tier list. But this isn't the center tier list. This is the best players in my team, in all of my team. And I think Boogie Cousins does wind up in B tier. Yes, he can move a little bit for a center, but he's only 6'10", still defensively, still not great. Just need to see some more things out of Boogie Cousins before he does get any higher. Diamond Takeover Reward Dwayne Wade, and I like Dwayne Wade, but I think he's D tier. I think he is one of the worst cards on this list. And again, that's not me hating on Wade. I can't even type his name right, but Pink Diamond Wade, basically the same card. I like both of them. I think both of them are really solid defensively. Their releases are really slow, though. And so when people think about D-Wade, they think about the D-Wades from the past, with that really quick release, with that really easy release to green, kind of that cheesy release. The Dwayne Wades right now are not like that. We don't have any of those types of guys in my team. And this is the Dwayne Wade. We do have the Diamond. Really solid defensively. Dunk packages are horrible, and his release, honestly, is not ideal. Diamond Evan Mobley up next. This is where things get really tough. There aren't a lot of power forwards on this list, because when you think about it, you got Worthy, you can play Larry there, AD, Giannis, but we don't have that many of them. I think Evan Mobley is A tier. I really do, and you guys can say I'm higher on Evan Mobley. I just don't know if can I put him over DeMarcus Cousins? They're different cards. But can I honestly look at myself and say Evan Mobley is just as good as Boogie Cousins? I think I can, because look at the defensive end of the court. I know offensively his release is slow. I get that. But I still do think Evan Mobley might do enough to stay at A tier. He might drop down to B tier. Again, this is all just going to be kind of a trial and error process, considering these have to be equally distributed. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. There's going to be 5 at every tier. I like everybody on this tier list so far. Evan Mobley probably is A tier. Magic Johnson up next, Pink Diamond S tier. Until further notice, Magic Johnson to me is S tier. It's crazy that I was actually running and this John Wall over. That's crazy. Yes, John Wall is better offensively, but when you take a step back and look at it, John Wall is not better than Magic Johnson. He's just not. It's just the way it is. I don't make the rules. He's not better than Magic. Magic Johnson S tier, a top 2 caliber of point guard in my team. I'm going to put Gary Payton into B tier. Now, if you're wondering, Ty, why do you not love Gary Payton? Well, there's a couple of reasons. The first reason I don't love Gary Payton's release, his driving dunk is only a 70. Doesn't have a lot of those finishing badges. So yes, defensively the card is great. Yes, on the defensive end, he might be one of the best point guards in the entire game. But offensively, I think you can make the case that Magic Johnson offensively is even better than Gary Payton. And because of that, I just don't see how Gary Payton can be in S tier. Pink Diamond Cade Cunningham at this stage of my team is D tier. I'm sorry. I don't make the rules though. If you locked in for Cade, you got a really good point guard for his specific time. I guess I'm going to put him at C tier. I don't think he's quite as bad as a Diamond Dwayne Wade. But I don't rate Cade highly, okay? For his time, yes, he was good. I'm not going to question that. I'm not going to doubt that. I'm not going to disagree with that. As much as I wanted to argue that Cade wasn't worth it for his time, he was still really, really solid in my team. But at this stage, I don't see it, okay? Cade Cunningham, C tier. Galaxy Opal Clyde up next. And I like Clyde, okay? I do. But the shooting guard position is one that is so strong right now in my team. I mean, we got Ricky Davis. Ron Artest should be on this list. If Ron Artest was on here, he'd probably be C tier. Ricky Davis, Ron Artest, Jimmy Butler, you know, those types of guys. Clyde just is one of them. I mean, he's not necessarily that crazy good anymore like he was at once upon a time. Gonna go B tier with Clyde Drexler. And a card I like more than him is Jimmy Butler's Galaxy Opal. Now, Jimmy doesn't make the best squad in the game anymore. He did for a while. He doesn't anymore. The reason I personally like Jimmy and rate him over Clyde is strictly because of defense. Yes, Clyde's going to be way better offensively, attacking the rim. But on the defensive end of the court, Jimmy Butler gives you a little bit more. I just wish Jimmy Butler didn't lack as many badges as he does. It's that simple. Galaxy Opal Anthony Davis, easy addition to S tier. One of the easiest guys to rank forever and always will be Anthony Davis. This card, he's better on current gen than next gen, but great on both gens. He's just ridiculous. Defensively, I don't know if it's because of his player model, player build, but he is just ridiculously good. Again, I don't know why he's so good. AD, easy addition into S tier. Pink Diamond Dwight, I'm going to go B tier probably. No, I'm going to go C tier with Dwight. Look, I don't mind Dwight. This is not me saying I hate Dwight, because on the defensive end of the court, he does some good things for you. His 3-ball actually is really solid. It's just his release isn't great. I mean, I don't hate Dwight. I think he does some things well for you. But it's how much does he do? And is he worth running? I don't think so. Okay? Galaxy Opal Patrick Ewing, for the best cards in the game, is D tier. I put him on the list because a lot of people are going to want to know, you know, how good is Patrick Ewing compared to some of the best cards in the game. He's at that lowest tier. Pretty self-explanatory. Not that fast. Not a good release. Can hardly shoot. I mean, I just don't see it out of Patrick Ewing. Diamond Kristaps Porzingis up next. This is a tough one. I'm going to put him at C tier, I think. Because when it comes down to it, I think Pink Diamond DeMarcus Cousins is better than KP. And this is not me saying Kristaps Porzingis is bad. So I don't want people in the comments saying Kristaps Porzingis is D tier. Like, this is the best, or C tier. These are the best of the best. You can't get better than these. And I think right now I prefer DeMarcus Cousins and probably prefer Dwight Howard over a guy like Diamond Kristaps Porzingis. Penny Hardaway up next. S tier. I mean, if you have to choose between these, it's really preference. Some guy in the stream yesterday when I was streaming asked me 100 times, who's better, Magic or Penny? To be honest with you, man, it's preference. I can't tell you Penny. I can't tell you Magic because I personally love them both. So you don't want my opinion on them because I think they're nearly equally as good. Both really solid in my team. Giannis up next, A tier. Hey, it's looking pretty equally distributed so far. Galaxy Opal Giannis is just going to help out with that because Giannis is not the Giannis of the past. Okay, I want to make that clear. It's not like you're going to get Giannis and he's going to be the best player on the court. He's not. His release isn't good enough. If he had last year's release, yes, he's probably maybe the best player on the floor. But he's not. You know, he's not even as good as Anthony Davis, but really solid in my team at that power forward position. And I think I might have to move Evan Mobley down. We'll see. We'll continue to move through this and see, but either Giannis is going to have to go down, up, or yeah, Evan Mobley's going to have to go down. And for now, I'm going to leave it like this. Pink Diamond Lonzo up next. I'm putting him at A tier. I do think Lonzo Ball is better than Gary Payton. And I think it's that simple. I think it's Penny, Magic, Lonzo is that step right below. A lot of people are running Lonzo over Penny and Magic. So I think that says enough about how good Lonzo Ball is. That even though I personally don't run him, I respect how good he is. Because I see it, right? I see people running him. I see the defense he plays. I just personally don't like him offensively enough to put him any higher. Galaxy of Paul George up next. He's D tier. I do not like Paul George. And I'm sorry if you like him. I don't like him. I think his release is horrible. And at that small forward position, he might be the worst guy on this list. Call me crazy, call me what you want. I do not like Galaxy over Paul George. Stephon Marbury for this type of a list is D tier as well. And looking down at it, I'm glad we don't have that many more bad players because my D tier is filling up relatively quickly compared to everything else. But here's the deal for Marbury. I used him and tried him on my No Money Spent. I really didn't even have that much success with him. Now, he does get a lot of hype. A lot of people talk about him. That's kind of why he's on this list, but I just don't rate him that highly. Julius Erving up next. I'm going S tier for Dr. J, the best card in my team on both gens. Now, if we're talking about current gen, I'd argue Galaxy Opal AD is the best card in the game. If you're talking about next gen, you could argue Tim Thomas is the best card in the game. But when you consider both gens, give me Dr. J, Julius Erving. Next up, guys, Diamond Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, A tier. Okay, he fits that mold. Right below Penny, right below Magic. Some people would argue S tier for Shea. I just don't think he does enough on that defensive end of the court for me to argue S tier. Now, that doesn't mean if you have him in S tier that you need to change what you're doing. That doesn't mean if you're using Shea over Penny Magic, you need to change what you're doing. Shea's a budget point guard, okay? And for that, A tier is absolutely incredible. Galaxy over Michael Jordan up next, S tier. And I know a lot of people might disagree with me putting him all the way at S tier. But what more do you want out of your shooting guard? I'm asking that honestly. What more do you want? He literally is an off-brand Dr. J. That's the way I think of him, and that's the way you guys should think of him. Is he better than Dr. J? No. Does he defend better than Dr. J? Maybe. I mean, MJ is elite. They're going to be my two shooting guards for the near future. I cannot see another shooting guard that comes out outside of like a Terry Dishinger that's going to replace either one of them. Pink Diamond Brown up next. And I'd make the argument Pink Diamond Brown is S tier. Now, when I look at the cards I've got remaining, there's maybe one other guy at S tier. Pink Diamond Brown is S tier. I'm sorry. At that small forward position, there's only one other guy that I would put up there with him. And you guys know, I guess I'll just skip to him. That's Tim Thomas, right? Brown, Tim Thomas, they're your top two small forwards in the game, and it's not relatively close. I just don't see anybody being on that similar level. So, yes, they're both going in S tier. It is what it is. Braun is Big Braun, man. If you watch my streams, you know he's Big Braun. Next up, guys, Pink Diamond KD. I think I gotta go B tier. And I think I might move Carmelo Anthony up. Because I think that's where KD belongs. I mean, if his release was on quick, he'd be A tier, maybe even S tier. But his release is just kind of slow. I know he's got the Hall of Fame range now, but I just don't think he does enough to be any higher than B tier. Larry Bird up next. I'm going C tier. I mean, I can't put a guy like KD over Larry. I can't. I don't like Larry Bird. The more I've used Larry Bird, the more I'm like, as an all-around player, he's not good, man. He's just not. I used Larry Bird for a while, and then I switched to LeBron, and I'm like, wow. LeBron is so much better than Larry. It's not even remotely close. Larry Bird beats here, but, I mean, I don't know. I don't love Larry Bird. Pink Diamond KD in C tier is probably right considering that release. James Worthy at this stage of my team is C tier. I'm sorry. I prefer Melo and Larry Bird over James Worthy. And yes, I know a lot of people are going to be like, you prefer Larry over James Worthy. I personally do. I know a lot of people might not agree with me. It is my personal opinion. But with that being said, I don't mind any of these guys. I mean, again, these are my top players in the game. So all of these guys are going to be relatively good. Pink Diamond Russ, at this stage of my team, is C tier. Now, if you are no money spent, Russ is going to be better than if you have the best cards in the game. Because on your no money spent, let's say your shooting guards are like, I don't know, Cam Reddish and, Mike Miller. Yes, Russell Westbrook is going to help your squad out a ton because you don't have that many guys that can go get you a bucket. So it depends really what your team's like for Big Russ. I'm throwing him at C tier. Tim Duncan up next. I'm throwing him at A tier. I like Tim Duncan. I just don't love it, okay? I think at the center position, he's the second best center in the game. Power forward position, probably the second best power forward in the game. But overall, I don't think he's maybe a top 10 card. If you ask me LeBron or Tim Duncan, if I'm choosing one, I think LeBron James is overall the better card in my team. That's not me saying, Tim Duncan isn't useless, or that's not me saying, everybody's going to like LeBron more than Tim Duncan. But for me specifically, I like LeBron James more than Tim Duncan. That's why they're where they're at on their tier list here. Tim Duncan, solid in my team, though. Pink Diamond Grant Hill up next, and I think I've got to go B tier with Grant. No, I think he creeps up into A tier. Am I gassing it by saying Grant Hill is A tier? Maybe. A lot of people probably are saying I'm gassing it. But we've got to look at the shooting guard position, right? Grant Hill, Jimmy Butler. That's a preference-based question. You can't give me an indefinite answer of yes, Jimmy Butler's better than Grant Hill, or yes, Grant Hill's better than Jimmy. I think it's really close. They're at the same tier for me, A tier. Pink Diamond John Wall up next. It's tough for me to have to put him in B tier, but I'm going to. And I know this is a big change from where my point guard tier list was. But as time has went on, as the game has evolved, John Wall's just, he's got worse and worse. Now, that's not me saying he's bad. B tier is still really good, but he's not nearly as good as he was once upon a time. Diamond Jonathan Isaac up next, and as much as I like Jonathan Isaac, he's C tier. I can't be any higher on him than that. Gonna play great defense, gonna green shots. Playmaker isn't gonna be what he does best, but he's gonna hold it down for you, is the Diamond Jonathan Isaac. Definitely not the best card in the game. Definitely not, a must pick up. But if you are balling on a budget and need a good small forward, power forward, Jonathan Isaac, a great option. Pink Diamond Kareem up next. Maybe our last addition into S tier. The best center in the game, in my opinion. I like him over Tim Duncan, and I know a lot of people might disagree with me on that, but I just think he gives you more. He can mash better, plays better defense. Just, I think, is the complete package for a center in my team. Pink Diamond Clay up next, D tier. If we're talking about the best cards in my team, Pink Diamond Clay isn't even on my radar. That's just my opinion on it. I know he's going to be able to knock down shots, but his driving dunk isn't where it needs to be. And the card just lacks quite a bit. Pink Diamond Kobe up next. Definitely an easy addition into A tier. I like Pink Diamond Kobe quite a bit. I really do like his release. Really like what he's working with there. But is the card perfect? No. Okay, it's that simple. The card is not perfect in my team. But he's nearly perfect, okay? If we're talking about why Kobe isn't perfect, it's not his release, because his release is on quick. It really comes down to the fact that playmaking-wise, he needs some more Hall of Famers, and I just do not love his dribble six, okay? That's why I'm not that high on Kobe Bryant, but he is really good in my team, still is A tier. Pink Diamond LaMelo Ball up next. I don't rate LaMelo as high as Shea or Lonzo. It's just my opinion on it. LaMelo's release is up there, okay? I 100% agree. But on the defensive end of the court, he lacks, man. He does. He's 6'7". I got to put him at A tier. I'm sorry. It's the way it is. I got to put him at A tier. It's going to make things tough here. We might have to start moving some players down. Jimmy Butler, I guess, has to get moved down, at least for now, because Ricky Davis is better than Jimmy Butler. And this is coming from someone who okay, I'm going to have to move some players down. Oh, okay. Who needs to go into D tier? Cade can go into D tier. I need one more in D tier. Oh, boy. I just got to stick to the point guards. I mean, there's not anybody else that can go at D tier. From C tier, who can I move down? Gary? And that's where we're at right now. Okay. It's fine. We'll make some adjustments. Shaq? B tier. I mean, I think he fits in that B tier. I like Tim Duncan over him. I like Kareem over him. A lot of people are going to argue that Shaq deserves to be an A tier or maybe even S tier, but I just don't see it. That's my opinion on things. Here's where things are going to have to change. Okay, I'm going to move Larry Bird down to C tier. Hate me if you want. I have Larry Bird. I don't use him. From A tier, I guess I got to move LaMelo down. It's the way it is. I like Thurl Bailey quite a bit. He's got to be an A tier. He's got to be on the same type of level as Giannis, because some people prefer Giannis like me. Some people that like to shoot threes are going to prefer Thurl. Both the cards are absolutely incredible. T-Mac, perfect addition into C tier. I'm sorry. I personally think Jimmy's better. I personally think Clyde is better. That is my opinion. I do not like Tracy McGrady's release. It's just my thoughts on things. A lot of people love T-Mac, but I personally do not see it with the cards. So when it comes down to it, guys, we did what we wanted to do. Equally distributed. Let me know who I'm too high on, too low on down below in the comments. I think this is pretty good though. I really do. Now, yes, some people might prefer Kobe over MJ, stuff like that. But I think when it comes down to how good is this tier list, find me a better one, because I'm loving what I'm seeing. Drop a like on the video, guys. Subscribe if you are new, and as always, man, I love you guys. And have a blessed day.